Got to make sure you can see the peace sign. There's so much to get to in this stream. What's going on, folks? Back with another edition of the post-game podcast. Welcome to Streamer Madness. My YouTube is... I don't like YouTube, and I'm sure on a stream I have said that before. And I had a phone that got destroyed. No fault of my own. It's just, phones get overloaded with stuff. I mean, when I say not my fault, my phone couldn't hold anything else on there. And, but it was stuff that I needed for work. So I don't feel that guilty about it. So it crashes out on me. And now the geniuses at Google say, well, we want you to verify that it's actually you so you can log into your YouTube. So let's go ahead and get on to Google and try and sign up. Oh, wait, I can't confirm it's me through my phone. Well, surely you have another way you can do that. Nope. So I'm basically locked out of my YouTube unless I do live streams, which that's what's happening right now. But at least I have something that I can do, and it's great to be able to do a podcast on a Friday afternoon, right? Could be doing other things like driving through traffic in the rain that's coming down right now in St. Augustine. They named it San Diego. I'm not going to start quoting Anchorman. I'll never stop. But yes, guys, I do this stream sometimes during the day. I like to mix it up. I mean, I do a live stream every Thursday, just about, but because there's so much going on this weekend sports-wise, and there's already been game one of the Stanley Cup and the NBA Finals, I figured, why not stream today, react to that, and today is also the kickoff for the College World Series. To be specific, the NCAA regionals, which keep an eye on that right now because North Carolina currently down to Arizona 1-0. Now it's the first inning, but UNC's been looking good. And the team that's closest to me, Florida Gators, out. Gotta say, I'm shocked about that because they were playing some damn good baseball to wrap up the season. And for a team that started 1-11 in conference play, and then all of a sudden they're winning games the way they were, it's crazy. I had to fix my camera. The beard is in season. I had the... I think one of my more clever names yesterday on my interview I did for the MMA Holes press conference show. I guess that's what they call it. Which, yes, new interview of mine talking UFC on the MMA Holes. Check it out. The UFC 316 press conference reaction show. I was the last caller. And I will get to UFC, but yeah, Florida, man, they fell so flat against East Carolina. And when they were on a roll, it was great baseball to watch, but the hits they were giving up were clipping them. credit ECU for packing, just piling on hits early. The pitching had held up pretty well for Florida, but it was a breakdown altogether for the Gators. And I mean, I had high hopes for them going into the tournament, but their season has come to an end. However, another team in Florida, two actually, one of them being my Miami Hurricanes, they are still alive and kicking. Hurricanes are playing. They are playing at 3 p.m. this afternoon against Louisville, which should be a good scrap. And Florida State is playing tonight at 8 p.m. So if you're able to watch those games, enjoy. I do not have a way to do that unless I go out to watch it, because for some reason the college, I guess it's just because there's so many baseball teams. That's my guess. They don't broadcast on all these streaming websites. If there is a stream you know of, please let me know in the chat, because I am not familiar with the college baseball world's streaming services. But there's some games today. I believe 4 games today, and then I think it's 4 tomorrow, and then they're off on Sunday. I'm going to check on that right now, actually. But yeah, there's a lot of ACC teams in this year. I mean, once again, it just goes to show that the SEC and the ACC are just miles above everybody else. Yeah, that's right. So tomorrow is Murray and Duke. I'm taking Duke in that one. West Virginia and LSU. Going to take the Tigers in that one. Auburn on ESPN2 tonight. They are taking on Coastal, which go Coastal because the Chanticleers. Got to rep them since my dad went there. I can't remember what year he graduated, but he didn't. He graduated from South Carolina. He was a Gamecock, but he did go to Coastal for 1 year. And yes, Florida State playing tonight at, was that 8? No, that was okay. So Florida State is at 6:00, and then at 9:00 Auburn's playing, which I'm not counting out Coastal. I mean, they have been covering all ends down the stretch here. Auburn, I mean, Auburn's kind of been, hit or miss there lately, and their position has not really changed from 8 or 9 spot. I'll put it to you this way: if they get past Coastal, I don't see them going much further than that. Of course, LSU, I mean, them being number 3, I absolutely expect them to take care of business. And honestly, I don't know if anybody's going to get past Vandy the way they're playing right now. It was lights out in the SEC tournament. So we're going to see who can stop them, if anybody. Texas is number 4, Oregon number 5. I don't trust Oregon. Honestly, sorry to my buddy JD, but I don't trust Texas right now. They lost to Florida in that series at the end of the season. So if they can show up and correct some of the errors, expect them to do well in this tournament. But if not, it could be a quick exit for the Longhorns. Georgia is number 10, and Coastal. I mean, Coastal's honestly, they're not much better than Auburn, but I think they have enough in them to win. So, gonna rock with them, and not just because I have family that went there. But if I have to pick against any team because of my allegiance to the Miami Hurricanes. The Knowles. Listen, Florida State, I mean, they're a team that has been, kind of dominated during the regular season, but ever since they got up there in the top three and just, it's like they've not been the same team since then. Maybe I've not been watching them enough, but I don't know. I think it's not the Knowles year. And same thing with UNC. I'm not being biased. I just think UNC has shown some holes in their game, and I expect them to, if they can't pack on enough runs early in games and they fall behind, that could be, that's a test for them for sure. Because, this team, they have the depth, but have they really been battle tested is what we want to know. And wow, right as I said that, I checked the score. UNC now up 5-1. So maybe they're going to prove me wrong. I don't know, guys. I don't think UNC will win it all. I gotta say, I was impressed by Vandy. I feel like it's their tournament, and if not, then I would say UNC runner up to them. That's my picks. Get at me if you have something different. And plenty of other sports has been going on. If you're a Florida Panthers fan, I'm sorry, the other night was not a very good experience for you. Honestly, I didn't get to watch the first two periods, but Florida had 3-1. How physically they've been playing in these games against the Hurricanes. I expected them to run away with it, and the Oilers needed a big game one. They had to take advantage of playing at home, and credit them for just, in overtime, they kept it down at their end pretty much the whole time. There were a couple of icings on each side, but it was an impressive game one for Edmonton. And I think if they can jump ahead of Florida, but there's no guarantee. And I think, just as they say, game one is important as can be. I think game two is just as crucial to get that 2-0 lead. But then again, nothing guaranteed. Look at the Warriors against the Cavs. You had last year, Florida 3-1 again and nearly lost that series. So it's going to be a big game for the Florida Panthers. Game two, they're going to have to come out swinging, and not, if they fall behind in that game, how good is their psyche? Because you go through a series like the one against Carolina where they look like they were coasting, and then all of a sudden the Hurricanes they had some kick to them. It was like trying to put down a mule who would just not stop kicking. God, I'm so tense this series. It's because the Florida Panthers, I grew up being I remember as a kid, I liked the San Jose Sharks, but the Sharks weren't really I didn't have allegiance to them for any reason other than that was my favorite animal. But the Caps have always been the team I supported because I grew up around them. But my second favorite really was Florida because the Panthers were my buddy's favorite team growing up. So I was like, yeah, I'll rock with them. And then the Caps were out, and that's another discussion to have, is if Ovi is going to be what's happening to that team now. going into, I mean, they've been talking about him possibly retiring for years. What's the direction that team will go in? But just the Panthers, they have to win game 2. And if they don't, and they start getting roughed up, they can't get shots off like they did in that overtime period. I think it could be Edmonton's year. That would be the first time since '93 that a team from Canada has won a championship. That's crazy. I remember one year when I was in high school, they were rioting when a Canadian team lost in the finals. I want to say that was '09. And they were lighting dumpsters on fire. And I just wish I could have been there for that. I've only gotten to see dumpsters lit up once. Shout out JMU Springfest 2010. Best day of my life. And the NBA Finals, well, everybody was rocking with OKC going into game 1. But Indiana, man, I mean, the thing with OKC is they don't have a superstar. They have a team. And that's what basketball, I was listening to the podcast with a former player recently, and he was talking about the cohesion of these teams lately that have been doing well, like the Celtics last year. That's what this era has forgotten. It's all about numbers. It's all about me, my, and I. And last night, it was a battle of who wanted it more, and OKC is a damn good team. But Indiana, man, I mean, they played lights out in that game. And I was just saying, game 1s are so important. I mean, look at that series and tell me that you don't think it's going to go to 7 games, because I think easily. And now I'm looking at the box score because, it was OKC was up by 9 at the end of the first. And they led going into halftime, but credit Indiana. I mean, if they can keep playing well the final stretch of those games, it's going to be – and, you go and win on the road, that's even more impressive. Individually, I'm not great with the names of NBA players, their squads and all, but I do know that last night was Halliburton was the star, but also you had a game where they were down the whole game and they were still able to get back in it and had to hit a game winner. And they did. So that just, if you can do that on the road, they're going to be hard to beat going forward. I mean, I picked OKC to win it all for this series, but I'm not calling the Pacers a slouch at the same time. So going to be very interesting to see if OKC comes unglued or if they keep it together. I mean, I haven't gotten to watch the NBA Finals or the Stanley Cup more than one period or quarter, but man, they're going to be good series. I think, honestly, I'm predicting both of them go 7 games. And just getting you your live updates now. We have still a 5-1 score with UNC up on Arizona. But if I learned anything with Florida at the end of the year, it's that a team can pack on runs, but it ain't over till it's over. And look how hot UNC got, getting 5 runs. They could squander that. And last, but certainly not least, I'm sitting back thinking about business ideas for the UFC. I mean, a 15-minute press conference. 15 minutes. And go to, I watched it on the Mac Life, but go to the comment section and look at the comments. 2/3, because the other third is Strip John comments, but go to the comments and look at how many people are pissed that it's such a short press conference. And there was no promotion whatsoever for this. I mean, I picked Pena to win this fight strictly because I liked her energy over Kayla's in a pre-fight interview that I saw a little over a week ago, which, hello, one pre-fight interview that I saw as a massive combat fan, as a massive UFC fan, something's not right there. I mean, God almighty, I have no idea what the UFC's this. Somebody called it the lazy era, and yeah, that's what it feels like. It's taken away from arguably one of the biggest rematches, whether Merab wins or not, of all time, and one of the biggest female fights ever. Which, yes, I'm picking. I think there's going to be a trilogy with Amanda and Juliana. I like Juliana's energy, but if she goes in there with her weight issues and can't get the striking going, I mean, Kayla could just be on top of her the whole fight. And, I mean, a great card. Luke K, Holland. I mean, you have Patchy fighting. It's just... I don't know, man. The UFC really needs to step their game up. Until they do, I don't know. But yeah, I am going with Merab. I think it's going to go the exact same as the first fight. I like Sugar's energy. I think he's more dialed in. Will look better in this fight. I talked about that on the MMA Holes podcast yesterday, but I definitely thought that I thought that it was going to be a better, I don't know. I thought O'Malley would not just be so, he was completely shut down by Merab in that first fight. And going into it, I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt and say he's not feeling himself so much, but he was. Looking back on it, I talked to Mose about that yesterday on his stream. Did I say? I said Mose Moss. I talked to him about that yesterday on the stream. Yeah, I think Merab will. Merab's going to keep taking O'Malley down over and over and over again. He smothers you, but it's a different kind of thing than the Dagestanis do. He keeps taking you down, and you have to work your way back up. And his conditioning is so damn good. I mean, give it to him in that first fight against O'Malley. It wasn't just O'Malley was feeling too cocky. It was that Merab had a hell of a game plan, and he went in there and he shut down the opposition, and that's exactly what you need to do. Keep looking over at the scores of the college baseball game. But yeah, guys, I don't know about you, but I feel like it's going to be a long night for O'Malley. And I am taking Luke K to beat Kevin Holland. I don't think that it will be easy, but I mean, Kevin Holland, he called out he was calling out Colby for a fight. I mean, that worries me because I think he might already be doubting himself going into this. Luque is not a guy that you can just think you're going to roll over. You're going to stampede that guy. No, I mean, which he would have done that to Nick Diaz, I believe, this Nick Diaz. But even against Kevin, I think that he's going to have to, if he can get a good game plan together, similar to what Gunnar was doing, and just neutralize I mean, if it goes to the ground, that's where I'm definitely most intrigued to see how Luque looks against a guy like Kevin Holland, because he's slick on the ground and does not get enough praise for the way he is. But how is Kevin's energy going into that? It's going to tell a story. And that's who, Apache and Batista, which Batista, I mean, you have a damn good win on your resume with Aldo, but Apache, this is no walk in the park for both. I think this could be one of the most classic fights of this era of UFC. And last but not least, on the main card is Kelvin Gastelum, which I said this yesterday too. If there is even a little bit of the Gastelum that we got against Izzy, I think he can beat Joe. But it's going to be, I mean, Joe keeps getting, I hear comparisons to Bo Nickel. What kind of fight is this going to be? I mean, is Kelvin going to come in with a different game plan than he's had in the past, or will it be him trying to is he going to have to neutralize the wrestling the whole fight against Joe? I don't know. I've not watched enough of Joe Pfeiffer, I will admit to you, but I think that it's going to be, I'm going to say, my final prediction, I'm going with Joe to win by decision. I do think Gastelum's going to drag him to the end, but I can't bet on Gastelum the way he has been doing things lately. It's anybody's fight, really, but yeah, I'm picking Joe. I mean, is the right Joe going to show up in this fight? Because I don't know. I mean, at a knockout recently, but then loses a decision, and then before that he hits a submission. There's knockouts again, which okay, you're not going to count knockout against Gerald as significant, but look, a win's a win. So I think it's going to really come down to what kind of fight it's going to be. And ladies and gentlemen, that is your main card. I will be dropping a promo post this weekend. There's a link on my Instagram at the Wildcard Comedy on Instagram for my interview on the MMA Holes podcast yesterday. My promo post will be a clip from a recent show of mine with my UFC, the full card picks, ready there for you. I have a buy me a coffee that I have been putting it together. I promise you that. It's just been such a the past month has been, I can't even explain to you how wild it's been, but life gets that way. Last year was wild and I got things done, so best believe that's coming to you. If you want to donate, I definitely appreciate any donos that I get I'm on PayPal. The link for that is in the description of this video. I don't use my Patreon anymore, and my sponsor, W Energy, which I learned about them through the MMA Holes. Great products. I don't drink energy drinks as much as I used to, but it's healthy energy. So who wants to drink 9 Red Bulls? I do, but I also don't want to have a heart attack at 32. So make sure that you go with the right option, and that is W Energy. Do the dub. And that is all.